Hello everybody, this is still lesson 4.3, functions, and you will get a worksheet. I will have it available online if you're not in class, and we're going to be filling in this worksheet. So let's start with the beginning. Please pause the video and use Quizlet to fill in this definition. Okay, and you should have this. A function is a rule or special relationship in which each input value produces exactly one output value. So each x has only one y. If I write something down, you should be writing it down as well. Okay, now we have some definitions already given to us. This is how we see if a function is if a relationship is a function. So we have, if we have ordered pairs, and that looks like this, right? 1, 2, something like that. If we're given a bunch of those, we look at all the x values. If the x values repeat, then it is not a function. If they don't repeat, then yes, it is. If you're given a graph, you use the vertical line test. You've seen that in the video we've done together, and I will show you that again today. If the vertical line intersects the graph more than once, then it's not a function. So let's do some examples. Determine whether the following are functions. Number 1, all you need to do is look at all the x values. Remember, it's x, y, and so on. I'm not going to label them all, but all we're doing, and I'll highlight them, we're going to look at all the x's. So we have a 5, a 3, a 2, a 0, and a -1. Did they ever repeat? No. So then, yes, it's a function. If x values don't repeat, you're all good. Okay, second one, look at all the x values. -2, 0, 2, 3, 2. Do any of them repeat? Yes. Okay, I'm going to circle them. You do it too, so that you know that's why it's not a function. Okay. Number 3, actually try number 3 on your own. Pause the video. Welcome back. We have these x values, and it looks like we have some repeaters here, so it's not a function. And the last one, looking at all those, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't look like I have any repeating x's, so then it is a function. All right, when we have a table, again, you're looking at all the x's. Do any x's repeat? So here's the table, here's all the x's. Do we have any repeaters here? I have 3 and 3, and they're obviously going to different numbers, so then this is not a function. Okay, number 6. Do any numbers repeat? Nope, so then it is a function. Pause the video, do number 7, please. I don't see anything repeating, so it is a function. And number 8, if you're looking at all the x's, you don't have to highlight every time, but I'm going to. And it looks like I have my 4's are repeating, so that means it is not a function. Okay, now we're going to get into mapping diagrams. And what a mapping diagram is, you might not have seen it before, it's just a table written with each x and y only once. So let me show you what this looks like. I know you have a little bit of room at the bottom of your page, or maybe to the side of it, but I'm going to write it underneath. So this first thing has a 3 with a, or -3 with an arrow to a 0. That just means it's a table where my x is -3 and my y is 0. Okay, and the second thing we see is a -1 is being pointed to a 4, so that means -1, 4. 2 is being pointed to the 7, so we have 2 and 7, and 4 is being pointed to a 4, which means 4, 4. So here we can see that no x's repeat, so then I will write it somewhere. Let's write it right here. This is, yes, a function. Okay. Number 10, same thing, okay? Whatever number it's pointing to is the output that it's mapped to. That's why they call it a mapping function, because things are mapped or pointed to the output. So the first one, hopefully you can see that, that's a -4 going to a 4, so it's -4 to a 4. Okay. All right, -1, we have an arrow sticking out of -1 going to 0, but we also have an arrow sticking out of -1 going to 7. Okay, now notice when there's 2 arrows sticking out of one x, it's going to not be a function because now we have repeated x's. To finish this off, I have a -2 going to a 3 and a 1 going to a 7, but because of those 2 repeated x's, this is not a function. So again, look for 2 arrows sticking out of an x. That means it's not a function. All right, and the last thing we're going to do is the vertical line test. If you're given a graph, it's much easier to see if 2 x's go to the same y because it will hit a vertical line twice. So let's start with number 11. I have my nice vertical line here. If I were to drag this along, let's see, it hits nothing, it hits nothing, it hits once. I'll circle it in case you don't see it. There it is. All right, over here it hits once there. And right here, it hits twice. That means 2 x's going to the to different y's. I'm sorry, the same x going to 2 different y's. If you would read those points, I'm going to read this bottom one first so you see what I'm talking about. This is a 1 for the x and -1 for the y. And the second one up here would still be a 1 for the x, but it's going to a different y. It's going to 2. I'm just reading the point. So now you can see there's repeated x's, and this is not a function. All right, let's do the vertical line test over here. I hit once, 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 once. So this one passes the vertical line test, so it is a function. Okay, try the last one on your own, please. Pause the video. All right, as you can see, it only passes through once at first, but at the end, it's going to hit the line twice, which means no, it's not a function. All right, and the last bit here is same thing, vertical line test. I'll drag my vertical line. As you can see, right here, there, it only hits one time. But as I continue to move to the left, it's going to hit twice. Oops. Can't grab my line. There we go. Now it hits twice a bunch of times here. And let's just circle some so we see. Right here, it's hitting it twice. So this is not a function. Number 15 will be a function. It only hits it once every time all the way through. So yes. And please pause the video, do the last one on your own. Okay, this one will also be a function. It never hits the line twice at any given spot. So yes, it's a function. Your assignment today, after you tape this into your notebook, is Z1 to 92 points. I know that's a random number, but that's what you're going to do. And if you didn't catch yesterday's assignment, there it is below.